Hey guys, welcome back to the other side of the coin, everyone. Look, it's been quite interesting the last 24 hours in terms of Chelsea news. There's been some fake news, there's been some scary news, there's been some reconfirming news, and then the whole Germany sort of Kai Havertz and Timo Werner classic display. So a lot to talk about, guys. Let's get straight into it. First of all, the whole news about Chilwell. About 24 hours ago, there was a statement out by the Chelsea admin team in Twitter, saying that Ben Chilwell has returned back from England duty and he's returned back to Chelsea. And at first, when I saw that particular news, I thought, oh no, here we go. An international scene, and yet another one of our players injured again. And we've been hampered with injuries so much in recent times that this particular one was, honestly, it was just going to devastate me because, as I said, if you've seen some of my previous videos, for me, Ben Chilwell is one of the biggest signings for us and one of the biggest upgrades for us at the moment, and not having him is probably detrimental to, let's say, not having Ziyech or let's say Mendy. I mean, I think not having Chilwell is massive for us. So look, as the day went on, there was reports coming out from many different Chelsea correspondents that are very, very close to Chelsea, said that it's just a precautionary thing. He's been returned back because of the injury history that he has, and much like the Ziyech situation. And I just want to say that finally common sense has prevailed in this situation, in the sense that these two particular players in the likes of Ziyech and Chilwell, they've been injured in recent times, and it would completely suck if they were to get injured again in the international duty. And this international break has been quite heavy. I mean, there's been 3 games in the space of probably 10 days. So it's quite heavy, and knowing that these players barely featured for Chelsea and then all this heavy workload in international duty, and for them to perhaps get another injury would have absolutely sucked for the club. So kudos to Frank Lampard and whoever else has been involved in this whole situation from our club, and obviously the national teams as well, the corresponding national teams, basically coming to an agreement that, look, go easy on these guys that have recently just come out of injury. Yes, it is the international scene at the moment. Yes, they should participate, but at the same time, let's not absolutely overkill them with all the games that are lined up in the international time frame. They do have their full-time sort of job, which is their club duty. And this all comes down to a whole situation where I've kept saying that I honestly don't understand why we play international games during league time, which we've seen so many times players get injured during these moments, and then the club gets suffered. But look, as I said, common sense have prevailed. Chilwell simply just coming back as a precautionary thing, just like Ziyech, and hopefully both are going to be in contention against Southampton. As I said, more than Ziyech, I honestly need Chilwell to start for us, because I'm not too confident with either Alonso or Emerson, which now leads me to my next thing is, Ian Maatsen, who's got the whole, loan opportunity with Charlton, is going to be going to Charlton for, I believe it's a season-long loan. And yes, they're a League One team at the moment. I didn't even know that. I thought they were in the Championship, but they're in League One. I would have loved Ian Maatsen to get a Championship, a Championship team loan to get that experience there. It's a very tough competition. So doing well there would have meant the world for someone like Ian Maatsen and for Chelsea. But he gets the opportunity in a League One team like Charlton. Charlton's a decent team. It's a London-based team, so it's not too far away from Chelsea. So this is very closely related to the whole Chilwell situation, in the sense that I feel out of all the loanees that we've sort of sent out, in the likes of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Conor Gallagher, and a few of the other players as well, Ross Barkley, I think Ian Maatsen, for me, is the most important loanee out there. There's so much riding on this particular player, because someone like Ben Chilwell, literally at the moment, doesn't really have a proper backup. We don't really have massive confidence in regards to Alonso and Emerson. They both lack massively in certain parts of their games. So Ian Maatsen, from the little that I've seen already, he looks like a dynamic left back. He's got all the quality to be a very, very good left back. Excellent going forward. He's got the defensive sense as well. He just needs the time now to just develop. So this particular loan move for me is very important. So watch this space, guys. Keep a track of Ian Maatsen, see how he does. Now let's move on to some other Chelsea news. This one is a funny one. Honestly, when I saw this, I was literally laughing to the point that I'm thinking, wow, this is what journalism has come down to. It's the whole story about N'Golo Kante. Apparently N'Golo Kante, there's been a fake particular news that's been going around over the last 24 hours saying that there's been a fallout between Kante and Frank Lampard. When you think about the word fallout and Kante, it just doesn't go. Like, you can't imagine someone like Kante falling out with anyone, let alone his boss. So, we all know prior to, the project restart last season, Frank allowed Kante to be, take his time. He wasn't very comfortable to return back with all the COVID situation, and Frank allowed him to do whatever he needs to do to feel comfortable. And this whole story apparently is about Kante wanting to go to a particular wedding. Don't even know if that's true. Could be true. Who cares, to be honest? And apparently Frank didn't let him, and hence the fallout. And now N'Golo Kante wants to go to Real Madrid. I mean, for God's sake, like, seriously, this is what journalism has come down to. Like, we are just making up stories like that. It's seriously so funny to me that, a player like Kante, who simply doesn't show that demeanor about him to fall out with his manager because of that. And we live in a day and age now where we adults, like, say for example myself, me being an employee to my boss, if I have a particular request, my boss is not going to turn me down. If he turns me down, it'll present me with legitimate reasons as to why and whatnot, and maybe we can work something out. So this is an absolute nonsense of a particular news which is circulating around and unnecessarily circulating around. But heaps of Chelsea correspondents have come out and pretty much said this is utter nonsense and don't believe it. So that's a little bit about that. Now, the final piece of this particular video, and I want to take a bit of time talking about this because these two duos for us at the moment, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, have been absolutely brilliant for Germany. Now, before I get to all of that, I just want to say Germany, look, as growing up as a little kid, my first World Cup was 1990, Italy 1990, and since then I've been following Germany national team quite keenly. That's the national side that I follow. Now, obviously, me being from a Bangladeshi background, Bangladesh is never going to make the World Cup, so enough with that. Australia, obviously, me living in Australia, I definitely back Australia whenever they're in the World Cup. But my proper team is Germany, so I'm very, very keen on them. And I just need to say that they've got a shambolic defensive structure at the moment. That game against Switzerland today, the 3-3. Every time Germany was getting opened up, it was so embarrassing the way they were defending. And this is nothing against Rudiger. Rudiger was part of it, but Rudiger wants to come back to the Chelsea team. But if he's going to be part of that style of defensive structure, honestly, he's erratic as it is. But being in that style, he's never going to get a look into Frank's team ever again, because we want more resolute sort of defensive style, and Germany at the moment is not doing that. But enough about that. I want to talk about Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. Both of them got themselves a goal and an assist. Kai Havertz, just majestic, he loves that sort of number 10 role. Germany was just throwing everyone up front. That's the way they play at the moment. It's just high line, intense pressing, trying to win the ball and just attack gun-ho. But the assist that he got, which was a ball that he won in midfield, and then it went off to Timo Werner. Timo Werner then drove into the box and then had a shot goal. And then in the second half, Kai Havertz got himself a nice goal as well. Again, pressing high up, winning the ball, and then driving deep from the right side, and then with his right foot cross-angling the shot and scoring a very, very nice goal. And Timo Werner as well got himself an assist in the second half where he goes to the byline on the right side, cuts it back in, and brilliant finish from Gnabry with his flick from his heel and goes in. So overall, guys, my biggest request for the upcoming match against Southampton would be I would love to see this combination of Kai Havertz and Timo Werner continue in the Premier League. We need to give this an opportunity now with all the players hopefully fit and raring to go. I don't know if Ziyech will start, but hopefully Pulisic does start. He got a little bit of the smell of it against Palace. in the last match. Hopefully he gets the opportunity to start. If it's not Ziyech starting, hopefully it's Hudson-Odoi. And then I would want Timo Werner and Kai Havertz just behind and really continue that combination, because they seem to be growing a lot of chemistry together. They know their movements very well. They know their strengths, weaknesses, and they seem to find each other out all the time. So I hope Frank Lampard really plays on that and continues to let this flourish. And yeah, let's face it, these two are our proper marquee signings, and we need to give them all the opportunity to really shine together. And them shining is only going to mean massive for us. They pretty much Chelsea carried the German team to that draw, basically, because if it wasn't for their goals, honestly, Germany was shambolic at the back. So guys, that's a little bit about all the Chelsea news that's been happening in recent times. If you've enjoyed this video, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Let me know, guys, in the comments section what you think about the whole, Chilwell situation, the precautionary thing. Was it a good move? Personally, for me, it was a great move. Would you expect him to start on during this weekend? The whole Maatsen situation, how much do you value this particular player moving forward, being the backup left back for Chelsea? And the whole N'Golo Kante nonsense news, let me know what your thoughts are about that. And finally, the whole Kai Havertz and Timo Werner situation. Do you want this particular combination? Do you want to see this more in the Premier League? And do you think this duo could become one of the biggest duos in the Premier League this season, and hopefully seasons to come? So guys, until next time, see ya.